All right, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It is madness for some, but for others, when it comes to the NBA, you're going to hold your nose here tonight because these are some absolutely horrific games we are going to break down for you here tonight on what is a disgusting slate. No doubt, though, we will find a couple of edges to be had here. We'll break down a few of these games. We'll talk some totals. We'll talk a couple of dogs. And speaking of disgusting, we welcome in Bryan P, ladies and gentlemen, in the house. Nobody quite does disgusting like BP does here. The prop god, Andy Lang, is going to join us. Also, Andy is going to debut a new feature here on the show when it comes to SGPs. And there is some disgustingness here tonight in which he will figure out a same-game parlay for us. And the one and only Mr. R.C. Ronald Kabang in the house. He refuses to lose, people. He refuses to lose. And that's what we love about him. So, gentlemen, welcome in. Let's hear from the contrarian gods. What was that? Yeah, well, the contrarian gods are throwing up as well. That's how much they like this card here tonight. But they're going to puke in the direction of the Pistons here tonight. And I mean, listen, I don't blame them. 10.5 points. This thing climbed up from 9.5 to 10.5. And looks like Cade Cunningham has already gotten the thumbs up to play. So he's going. Fontecchio is going to be an interesting one if whether he can go or not. But for the most part, 10.5 points there, BP. It's your Indiana Pacers. You love that team. So you tell me, are you willing to, not saying they're going to lose, but 10.5, my man, is a big number here. What are you thinking?
Yeah, Joe, what has me nervous about backing the contrarian gods here is the Pacers could be in an ornery mood. They lose outright to Cleveland as 6.5-point favorites the other night. Plus, you look at the season series here, Pacers not only 3-0 straight up, but 3-0 ATS head-to-head with the Pistons this season. But the spreads for those games, guys, were -8.5 at home, -7 on the road, -12 at home. So double digits on the road. It feels like we may be getting a little bit of value on the Pistons here. You mentioned Cade Cunningham, Joe. He did not play Monday against Boston, so I'm not going to put a ton of stock into the Pistons getting their doors blown off there. The big concern for the Pacers is Halliburton, who's averaging less than 16 points per game on 41% shooting since the break. He's had the Pistons number now in those first three meetings I talked about. We're talking 21.7 points, 13 assists per game, plus 41% shooting from three. This game probably comes down to how well Halliburton plays. I'd be interested to hear what Andy would have to say about Halliburton over 10.5 assists, given that he's averaged 13 in the previous three meetings. But as far as the spread is concerned, guys, this is too many points. 2 of the 3 times this season that Indiana has been asked to lay 8.5 or more on the road, they've lost outright. It would be dog or pass for me in this rather disgusting situation.
Oh, it is gross. I mean, disgusting. The simple fact that he agrees with the contrarian guards might even be more disgusting, Andy. But listen, your Pacers, you know them here. I am praying and hoping. I do have I think you do as well, Andy. We have tickets on the season win total over. I think it was 38.5, somewhere in that ballpark. It'd be great if they actually won that 39th game here. Would be really great. And I think they win tonight, but my goodness, 10.5. What do you think we're going to get here tonight?
I wouldn't be laying this amount of points on this Pacers team. They can be Jekyll and Hyde. And Brian is right. Halliburton has a double-double in every single game against the Pistons. He's way over that 10.5. I got to give credit to Brian. He brought that number up. The only prop I'm looking at in Halliburton these days is this under 2.5 made 3-pointers. This thing is even money. This is a guy who cannot get over 2.5 made threes since the All-Star game. This has gone under in 10 out of 13 games. And you want to talk gross and disgusting. The last 5 games, he is a combined 6 of 36. He shot 36 3-pointers, and he's made 6 of them in the last 5 games. So, yeah, when you're looking at Halliburton, this is just a great prop. I don't know why the books are still keeping it at 2.5, and I sure don't know why they're keeping it at even money. So you just keep riding Halliburton under his threes, and it does correlate. He's not shooting the ball well. It's the Pistons. Distribute the ball. Let your teammates get all their points. So I think it's a nice correlation between Halliburton under his made threes and over his assists. And there's just weird thing in this series. I mean, the Pacers struggle at guarding people. Cade Cunningham, 28.8 points against the Pacers average this year. He loves torching the Pacers. So you got Halliburton over assists, you got Halliburton under his made threes, and you got Cade Cunningham over his points in this game is the good props.
All right, like it. A couple different ways to approach this one here tonight. RC, come on, my man. The contrarian gods have spoken. They said, no way am I laying 10.5 here with the Pacers. What say you in this matchup tonight?
Yeah, this one is kind of tough here. I can kind of see it going both ways. Both teams really, I think both teams have been really inconsistent. Both of these guys here mentioned a lot of things. The Pistons side, they're in a tough fatigue spot. Third game in 4 nights, 4th and 6, but they have been covering the number at a pretty decent rate when they're playing their 3rd and 4 and are heavy dogs, which they are today. I looked at 3rd and 4 plus heavy dogs of 9 or more. 1 and 9 straight up, right? They're not winning these games, but 7-2-1 against the spread. So that to me says the books tend to over adjust the line in these situations. But if you look at the other side here, obviously a big number for the Pacers to cover, but they are in a bit of a bounce back spot here after losing to the Cavs outright as favorites too. 10-4 straight up, 9-4-1 against the spread in that situation so far this season. But they do tend to play down to their opponents. So I looked at how the Pacers do on the road when they're against teams under 400. In the last 7 instances, they failed to cover 6 times. They even lost 5 of them outright. So for me, I can only look towards the Pistons' way with this number and the fact that the Pacers tend to play down to their opponent's level.
That's great. So now we got 3 in agreement with the contrarian gods. All right, the Pacers by 1 million. It is. All right, thank you very much, guys, for absolutely ruining that for us as you're all on the same page here. But I do want to let you guys know as well that all 3 of these gentlemen have multiple plays here, locked and loaded across all the sports here, and there's a lot going on over the week here, including a ton in the association as they wrap up the regular season. Not to mention a huge amount of content when it comes up, whether it be March Madness or the NBA or the NHL or hell, even darts. Andy, nobody carries more content than we do. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the like button. Those of you joining us here, shout out to the chat room here today live on this Wednesday, March 20th, as the only game I think, or maybe not, but I think this is maybe the only matchup in which at least both teams are somewhat 500. I mean, my God, this is a terrible card. The Sixers taking on the Suns, and this is another ridiculous number, BP. Who in the hell are the Suns to be laying 9 points against anybody here tonight? What are you thinking?
Quote, we were trying to fly around, but we were just getting our ass kicked. That was Suns coach Frank Vogel after the Bucks game, where his team gave up 82 points in the first half and lost 140 to 129. Vogel continued, quote, sometimes that happens. We've all been there, Frank. I think we can all agree with that. And that was a Milwaukee team that was playing without Giannis, by the way, and they gave up 140, 82 in the first half. I'd like to think the Suns would show some pride and bounce back here, Joe, but you alluded to it. Who are they to be laying this many points? It's a frustrating team. 2nd worst ATS record in the league this season. In fact, over the last 13 games, the Suns are just 6 and 7 straight up. And if you factor out overtime, their average margin of victory, 6.5 points per game in those 6 wins. Plus, over the last 10 games, the Sixers, only one time have they lost by double digits. Harris might come back. This is take the points or pass as well on this disgusting card. I'm sensing a theme here on Wednesday, Joe.
Yeah, you can tell how disgusting this is because BP is agreeing with everything I throw out there, Andy Lang. So this is going to be an atrocious evening across the board here. But I need you to help me out here, Andy, because there is I mean, as disgusting as this is, there are certainly a number of different spots, I think, in this game from a prop betting perspective that you can hone in on. Are you leaning one way or the other between these two teams in the game tonight, and who you focusing in on?
Yeah, I mean, it's two teams I don't want anything to do with. I mean, on one hand, you're like, oh, yeah, the Suns, they should win easily. And you're like, wait, these Suns? And I do think it's very important to, I mean, if we're being realistic here, this is a Suns team. This is a playoff team. They really have no business caring about the regular season. Just try and get into the playoffs healthy, which is a problem with some of these guys, especially Bradley Beal. So you look at the Suns team, and I don't think it's really that big of a surprise if they have trouble in the regular season. So I mean, I'm not taking the Suns, but I'm certainly not going to be betting money on the Philadelphia 76ers. So we do have a same game parlay in this one. Joe, last time we were on there, you said let's come up with the same game parlay every time I'm on. So I like this game a lot because there's some very predictable players. In fact, my best bet is on a player prop in this game. But there's just a ton of things. This is on DraftKings, and you can get plus 142 on this. We'll take the alt line on Bradley Beal over 3.5 assists. This is a guy that's gone over in 8 straight games. And be honest, since he's come back from his injury, he's playing a lot of minutes. It's 35-plus minutes a game. He's been great at the rebounds and assist category, but we'll just lower his assist total down to 3.5 on the alt line. We'll take Grayson Allen to make 2 or more threes. He's done this in 31 out of the last 40 games. You're not going to give Grayson Allen like most improved player, but is he the most surprising player this year? Like, who thought Grayson Allen would all of a sudden become this unbelievable contributor on this Phoenix Suns team? And his props have been great. He's attempted 9 and 11 3-pointers the last 2 games. So we're just going to take him to make 2. And then we're going to take the 76ers under 110.5 on their team total. They have scored less than 110 points in 15 out of 17 games. The 2 teams they went over were Dallas and Charlotte, not exactly known for their defense. So there's a plus 140 same game parlay for you. We're going to take Bradley Beal over 3.5 assists, Grayson Allen to make 2 or more threes, and the 76ers under 110.5 team total.
All at plus money. That is what I am talking about. A little SGP getting it going here tonight between the Sixers and the Suns. Well done, Andy RC. Come on, my man. If you ain't laying that with Indiana, I know you ain't laying this with Phoenix, or are you?
No, I mean, I was really close to betting this game. I actually looked at it in 2 different ways here. First was the Sixers plus the points, and then the other was actually a team total on the other side, the Suns team total under. So why I was looking at the Suns team total under here, I like the Sixers defense lately. They've kept opponents under their team total in 5 of their last 6 matches. The one game that their opponent did go over was against the Bucks, and they went over by the hook because of late free throws. I think they had 4 free throws in the last like 30 seconds because of fouls and stuff like that. So they were on the road to staying under in that one as well. But what kept me off really is the Suns' offense. They're still pretty potent here. They've gone up and over their team total in 3 of their last 4 games against tough opponents as well. They didn't go over their team total against the Hornets just because they didn't really have to. They were already winning by double digits in that game, so didn't really need to push the pace there. On the Sixers plus the points, the Suns defense has struggled a lot lately. It's pretty much the opposite of the Sixers. The 5 of their last 6 opponents went up and over their team total by a pretty decent margin. But when you look into it a little bit more, you look at their opponents in those games, they were playing against some tough opponents. The Suns faced the Celtics twice, the Cavs, the Bucks. One of the teams that stayed under their team total was the Hornets. And obviously they've been struggling pretty much, all season long offensively. So that's not a surprise there. But, those were the 2 ways that I was looking. If I was to actually bet something on this game, I would probably say look towards the Sixers plus the points, but I couldn't get there. I was really close, but just couldn't get there at the end.
Well, close, but no cigar. But hey, big shout out to Have Cash, by the way, mentioning Phoenix with 2 to 3 days rest. A very impressive 5-9-1 against the spread there in the chat room. Outstanding. I know exactly, Mr. Cash, where you're going in this game here tonight. So we've got ourselves a contrarian play. We've got ourselves a featured matchup, and that was slim pickings here tonight. We do have a total we want to talk about in our overtime segment. And while usually we reserve this for some of the higher totals on the board, you can't help but to love a 204.5, which, believe it or not, I believe was up a little from the 201.5 I think I saw last night. So this is, but again, still 204.5, and I get Miami on a ridiculous underrun here, BP. I mean, they have been, them and Detroit really have been absolutely money here over about the last 20 or more games. But my goodness, really? Jimmy Butler, I think, was still questionable, but it appears like they think he's going to go. No Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs, but does it really matter? Is it still just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it? We're looking at the under?
7 straight unders for Miami, Joe. I think that streak ends here. It feels like every week when I'm on the show, we've got one of these low totals, and I'm looking to go over. It's worked out the last 2 weeks. Orlando, Brooklyn last week. And here's why I think it works here. Cleveland's missing a lot defensively. Strus, Wade, Mobley. Without those three, their defensive rating, it plummets. Miami injury report, that could be an adventure at times. You talked about Jimmy Butler. He is questionable. I'd be a little worried if he doesn't go because their offensive rating plummets about 7 points per 100 possessions with him off the floor. But here's the deal. I was looking through Cleveland's season results. There have been only 5 times all season, guys, where they've been in a game that had fewer than 205 total points scored. 4 of those before Christmas. So I know the number's been bet up, like you mentioned, Joe. So we've lost a little bit of the value. But to me, it would be over or pass here tonight in the LeBron Bowl between his 2 former teams, the Cavs and Heat.
I'm wondering if we can get a prop, Andy, on our good friend S. Warrior there in the chat room, who has been MIA a little, but it's because I understand he's coming off the bench for the Heat, and they can certainly use him here tonight because I know Big Daddy, Have, Sean Evans in the house. He been like MIA, and the only reason I can come up with is because he's actually in uniform coming off the bench for him. So tell me what you're going to do with this total, and who might we be fading if there is here in the prop betting market tonight in this one?
It's going to be Jimmy Butler's who we're fading. They've got his point total at 23.5, and the note here says that he was spotted shooting the ball Wednesday morning at shoot around. That's what kind of game we're dealing with here. That's like the good news is, Jimmy Butler was shooting the ball at morning shoot arounds. That's great. He's a professional basketball player. That's good. So I'm still taking his under. The last 2 games against Cleveland, he had 10 points and 16 points. He's gone under this in 5 straight. He's gone under in 11 out of 13 games. The total, I mean, my gosh, the total is set at 204. And I don't see anybody getting to 24 points. So let alone Jimmy Butler, who's a little bit banged up. Cleveland, the guys that they have out, Mobley's out, but Jared Allen is still in there, great defender. They still got some of their defensive guys, and it projects to be low scoring. Even if they get over, it still could be one of those, like 106, 109 type of games. So it goes over, but no chance I'm looking at an over on Jimmy Butler until he shows that he's going to be a little bit more of a scorer. I don't know if Bam's going to play. Maybe that affects it a little bit, but I just have a feeling Jaquez would be a guy I might look at instead of Butler, but the number is way too high on Butler. Take his under.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Sean Evans brings up in the chat room too as well. Bam is still questionable here. And if he doesn't go, right, RC, it might not be a bad look to the over because he certainly does mean that much to the defensive side of the Miami Heat here. Not to mention, I think Duncan Robinson is out as well. He's been actually pretty good for him lately. So all of this points to an under, but damn, 204.5. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it is an under spot for both teams here, but like, the chat said, the injury report really has kept me off of actually taking it. I mean, the Cavs, they're in somewhat of a letdown spot, right? They went outright as a dog against the Pacers. They're also playing their first game home after a three-game road trip. And that to me is typically a flat spot for most teams. And then the Heat side, they're in a fatigue situation, 3rd and 4, 4th and 6, also playing their 4th straight road game as well. The Heat here, they've been strong to the under the season. I think you called it, Joe. But if you look at the last 38 games, like, I think since the end of December or something like that, 30-8 to the under in general. And if you look at them on the road, 19-2 to the under on the road this season. I mean, not this season, but since late December. So for me, it would be an under or nothing, but I can't take it without, a clear status from Bam. If he's out, I would probably look to play the under like immediately, because I think everybody has that one book that's super lazy. That leaves the lineup for like a minute longer than everyone else. I think you have to figure that out and go to that book and have that ready and available. But if he's out, it would be a stay away game for me, because the Heat are 6-4 to the over without Bam. Also 7-2-1 to their team total over. If you want to look in that market there. When Bam is out, for some reason, they score a little bit more. Obviously, they probably push the pace. That's the reason why. So yeah, to me right now, without a clear status from Bam, it's a stay away from me.
Yeah, Bam is, by the way, still listed as questionable. But to your point, RC, sooner rather than later, because if he is a go, it would feel like I'd be very happy holding that under ticket. If he doesn't go here, I'm wondering how much more that is going to jump up to begin with. Again, that started 201.5 BP, I think we saw overnight, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's already raised 3. So we'll see where that goes here tonight. All right, so we got totals. We got featured matchups, barely. We have the contrarian gods. We got a same game parlay. And now it is time to talk some dogs. So let us see here, Robert. Let the disgustingness reign. Let's see what we got here tonight. Oh, this is gross.
That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. And anybody got to say anything, you let me know. That's my dog.
Oh, God, look at this. We got the Bucks getting 10.5, and I'll give you 3 guesses who they're playing there. No Giannis in that one. We just had the Heat total on, but the Heat grabbing 1.5. Utah also very ugly, taking on to OKC. The Memphis Grizzlies, I didn't think they were still playing basketball, but they're in. Pistons, we talked about. The Raptors. Oh, what's that? Oh, now it looks like the whole team's hurt. Nobody's playing tonight. Good stuff there. Sixers and the Blazers, BP. Good Lord, this is disgusting at its best here. Where are we rolling for a dog? Somebody's barking here tonight.
You always tee me up so well, Joe. We're going to go with the Grizzlies. Plus 11 before we all laugh here. Golden State's lost 3 in a row at home. One of those was as an 11-point favorite to San Antonio. Then Monday, Golden State plays the Knicks. They never led in that game and lose outright. Draymond Green's questionable with the back injury. He missed a game last week because of the back, so there's a chance he maybe doesn't go here. But at the end of the day, you look at this Golden State team, guys, they're averaging only 112.8 points over their last 5 games. And even that number is misleading because they've scored more than 113 just once in that stretch. There's a lot of talk about the rule changes, the way the game is being officiated. And, maybe that's kind of coinciding with this. Steph Curry, is working harder to get open. But you look at Memphis, guys, on the other side. Bane is back. Their defensive rating, top 10 in the league now per Hollinger for the season. 10-6 against the number, their last 16 games overall. On an ugly card, Joe, you could do a lot worse, I think, than taking the points with Memphis tonight. So they are my dog, plus 11.
Disgusting on so many levels, BP, and we love it. Andy Lang, let the disgustingness continue here, my friend. I can't even imagine where you're looking on this board here tonight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, pretty gross. I like the Bucks, plus 10.5. Giannis is out. Oh, the Bucks are going to get killed. They're 3-1 without him. And it just probably a letdown spot for the Celtics. You get ready to play the Bucks. and Giannis just all of a sudden isn't there, and all of a sudden a couple guys on the Celtics popped up on the injury report. I think Jaylen Brown is still on there, so it could be one of those where you just like Boston gets ready, gets hyped up to play Milwaukee, and then they just kind of, no, Giannis isn't playing. We can just kind of waltz our way to a win, and all of a sudden it's kind of a backdoor cover. Also, a big look ahead spot. They play at Detroit Friday. Big game. So you don't want to blow your load tonight before you go at Detroit and back to back at Chicago too. So and then at Atlanta. So they're really really tough schedule after this. So I'll take the Bucks. There's a lot of it. It's all right. Brian brought up Grizzlies. I completely forgot Ja Morant's still technically in the league. It's amazing.
Yes.
Somebody mentioned him
Good
the other day. I was
point.
like, oh my God, that's right. He's still in the NBA. Good Lord. So Bucks plus 10.5.
Yeah, it's getting worse here, RC. It's just getting uglier and uglier as we go down the strip. So I know you got something that might be somewhat reasonable here. Tell me where you're going for a dog tonight.
I don't know how reasonable, but I don't really like a lot of dogs today. I mean, like you mentioned earlier in the show, these matchups are nasty. So I guess I can't take the ones that they took. One way that I could look is towards the Raptors. Obviously, they're missing a whole bunch of pieces, but this one's pretty easy. I just can't look to lay double digits with the Kings. I know the Kings defense has been a little bit better lately, but if you look at them as double-digit favorites here so far this season, 1-7 against the spread, and you got to look at some of the teams that they actually lost outright to as double-digit favorites. They lost to the Hornets and the Pistons. They almost lost outright to the Grizzlies on Monday. They're lucky you even went into OT. So for me, even with this, with a short-handed Raptors team, I would probably say Raptors plus 11.5 here.
Ooh, disgusting. And we love it here. This is quite honestly, I think Sean in the chat room said it, like this has got to be the nastiest set of dogs that we have ever seen in a very, very, very long time as there, but we should be good to go. Oh, wait, there we go. Much better. All right. So now that we've got dogs, now that we've got some contrarian plays, you got a same game parlay. We got a total. I can't even believe we found this many on this card here today, but we need some best bets. And I know, BP, you're going to kick us off. 60 seconds here, man, of all this grossness. Where are you going for a best bet here tonight?
Yeah, the talk has been discussing underdogs. I'm going to talk about a favorite on the card tonight. I do not trust the Clippers laying double digits on the road, but I do trust them to score at least 115 points in Portland. It's a number they've cleared 6 of the last 7 meetings with the Blazers, including each of the last 5. This year, granted, these were at home, but they scored 123 and 132 against this team. Really, it's just a buy low on a Clippers offense that is still top 5 in offensive rating per Hollinger, even after the back-to-back lousy efforts against New Orleans and Atlanta. As an away favorite this season, guys, the Clippers are averaging 119.9 points per game. That's more than 114.5. So I like the Clippers over their team total. That is my best bet for the show today. Do not miss my NCAA Mega Pass, where you can get every play Wednesday through Friday for college hoops for just $29. We won in the NIT last night. Plan on doing so again tonight. All the Thursday plays, all the Friday pays, WT.buzz/BP.
All right. Getting it done. That's right. Clippers here tonight. Maybe a get right spot here. Andy Lang, best bet time, man. You know the routine, 60 seconds. Where are you rolling here tonight?
I'm actually going to go back to the Suns game. There is a play I've been monitoring for a while, and I think we can keep playing it. Before we get into that, promo code available, Lang7, LANG7. Gets $30 off a 7-day pass. Why do we bring this up now? I have been very open that this is the week where the profits in the MMA really start to roll in. We've got Bellator's first event. We've got UFC on Saturday, and we've got Bare Knuckle on Friday. MMA has been a really, really nice source of profits. 5-1 in the last 6 plays, 3-1 in Bare Knuckle, and we've got a loaded card. Best way to do that is just use the promo code. It gets all of our NCAA, NBA, NHL plays, everything. And we got a Formula One race as well. We've yet to lose a play in Formula One. So Lang 7 gets $30 off 7-day pass. My best bet, we're going to Devin Booker, under 2.5 3-pointers. He's only gone over this in 28% of the games this year. He's shooting 36% from threes, and he only attempts 5.9. The math doesn't make sense. Keep playing Devin Booker under 2.5 made threes.
Ooh, love it. If it ain't broke, we ain't fixing it. Not a bad way to go there. RC, talk to us here, my man. I know there's a nugget you pulled out of here tonight. So 60 seconds. Tell us where you're looking for a best bet tonight.
Yeah, I'm heading to the Thunder and Jazz game here. I do like the Thunder early. Yeah, the Thunder are well rested. They got 3 days of rest. The Jazz are on the front end of back-to-back games, plus 4th game in 6 nights. I think the Thunder take advantage of the rest factor pretty early and start off pretty strong out the gate. I looked at the Thunder at home laying double digits, 10-game sample size. Their average first half margin in those games, plus 16.1 points. On the Jazz side, it's pretty much the opposite. They typically struggle on the road, especially in the first half. 11-22 ATS in the first half when on the road. And when they're double-digit dogs, 5-game sample size, but they struggle early, especially on offense, averaging just 46.8 points per game in the first half, with an average first half margin of minus 20.8 points per game in that 5-game sample size. So I can see the Thunder being up double digits in the first half. Take the Thunder first half -9.
Ooh. Well, first half play here. It feels like nobody has been more profitable at first halves than those Celtics, too. Kind of crazy how consistently they have covered that number in the first half here. And we have a couple of best bet recaps here with the Clippers. Team total over 114.5 there for BP. Booker, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, it's broke his ass. Under 2.5 threes. Ain't nobody messing with that one. Grab it while you can. And RC, I love this one. Going with the Thunder in the first half. At home, lay it with the 9. They usually like to get out in front. Them in Boston, been very, very profitable in the first half. Way to go there. Also, little same game parlay doled out for you by Andy Lang here. You heard BP tell you about the package there from March Madness. RC locked and loaded, ready to roll here. Visit all 3 of these guys now. Hop on board, partner up with them over at WagerTalk.com. I can't believe we made it through with this disgusting card here, but we did it. So big shout out to those in the chat room again. Big Daddy, Professor Chris in the house, Julio, Titan CT, catch you slipping, all you guys. We appreciate it. Give us the thumbs up on the way out if you would. And, of course, hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Wager Talk TV family. Let's cash a few tickets, guys. Come back and join us again. We'll do it tomorrow and come up with some more discussing this for you, but inevitably some profitable discussing this. Best of luck here, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.